Coming up tonight on Feedback, the Steelers lost yet again. We'll be talking with Ryan Wisniewski from WCUC Sports Talk. And we'll be talking with the author of a book about the cable industry. And did you go holiday shopping? I didn't. We'll be talking about a lot of you who did tonight on Feedback. All right, like I said, later in the show we're going to be talking sports. Steelers lost yet another one on Sunday. We'll be speaking with Ryan Wisniewski from WCUC's Sports Talk. And also in a little bit we'll be speaking with the author of a book titled Cutthroat. It's a book about the cable industry. Pretty interesting, all the cable wars that are going on sort of behind the scenes. We'll be speaking with Stephen Keating from the Denver Post about that in a little bit. But first, I didn't talk to you about this last night. I waited till tonight because... I don't know why. Just because, I guess. The holiday shopping season has started. If you saw my story last week on TV5 News, we talked about the fact that a lot more people are spending a lot more money this year when they go shopping. A lot more people are going to be using their credit cards. Well, it certainly held true on Friday, or as they call it, Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, the biggest shopping day of the year. The headline in Monday's paper was that shopping opens with a 6.4% jump. So that's probably being attributed to the good economy. You know, we've heard that throughout the year. But the thing that's really been getting me, every year they say, well, this is what's going to be big this year, this is what's going to be big this year. The thing that's going to be big this year is this Pokemon stuff. I don't know what it is. I guess they're trading cards and there's a movie. It's a real big marketing deal, I guess. And it's everywhere. It really is turning everywhere. I was at a bookstore the other day, pretty big bookstore, and at one of the national chains, and that's the first thing that bombarded me as soon as I walked in. They're selling the Pokemon, and as I was checking out, a couple little kids came up to the register, and they were in line before me, and they were asking the saleswoman to register, how much does that big box of Pokemon cards cost? Are those the Japanese ones, or I guess, I don't know, I guess they're Japanese or something, but the woman said it's $25 for the box, so someone's making some money off of this. I don't know how big the box was, but $25 for something, and these kids are really willing to shell out the money for it. From what I understand, I guess it's like a trading card game. This afternoon, I saw a commercial that I think it's Pizza Hut or something, is going to be having times during the day where you can actually go in and trade the toys and trade the cards and things like that. I think it's absolutely hysterical that this is how they're promoting this, because, as you know, it might have been Burger King. Burger King was running a promotion for this, ran out of cards on day one to give out. There was such a big demand, and then I hear that now they're going to be offering times, it might have been Pizza Hut, I don't know, they all run together, that you're going to actually be able to trade them after you eat dinner. So bring all your kids in, the kids can go in this part, and the parents can go and sit and eat dinner, and you can trade your toys and your cards. So I just think it's mass hysteria over nothing. It's just one silly thing after another. You know, that we had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, we had Tickle Me Elmo, I don't even remember what last year's fad was. Now, Cabbage Patch Kids that just told me in my ear, there's so much, I think that's what started all this. That's who we have to blame. New Kids on the Block, they're screaming stuff in my ear. It just tells you, everyone remembers these fads. Teletubbies, that was the one that we had. So, there you go. Pokemon is the big thing, and you know what? And you might think, oh, it's just going to go away. You're right, it's going to go away, and something even more absurd is going to replace it. So, just beware. And they just told me in my ear, you'll love it, Mark Despotakis Tolls, or Despotakis, can't say my last name, are going to be the big thing next year for Christmas. So, hey, we'll get our marketing department on. I think that's a good idea. Have a little feedback logo on the box. Good idea. Anyway. All right, we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to be talking with Stephen Keating, the author of a book about the cable industry called Cutthroat. That's coming up next.
Early years, young children cannot stand on their own. Uniting parents and children is an important part of the life of a community. Stand for Children encourages people to make a personal commitment to stand for the health of children. 300,000 Americans marched in Washington, D.C. last June to support Stand for Children Day. Stand for Children seeks to lift the belief that children need our help to stand.
It's my birthday. I'm the man. It's my birthday.
Exercised lately?
Go for a mouthful, go for the fun.
Oh, go for cake.
Cakes for everyone. Just one stack is what it takes. And it's gopher cakes. Open wide, stuff your face. There's always room for more gopher cakes. Empty the box, then reload. Eat those gopher cakes till you explode.
Exercised lately?
Till you explode.
Sad, looking back now, the things you go through in life. Scary. The worst thing about being on welfare was what they really wanted. I had to get a better life for my girls and myself. I got off welfare. I got a good job. Makes me the happiest mother in the world. I live for my girls.
We're not asking you to hire everyone on welfare, just one.
Feedback. As I said, during this segment, we're going to be talking with Stephen Keating, the author of a book called Cutthroat, High Stakes and Killer Moves on the Electronic Frontier. Stephen is joining us live from Denver. He's a business writer at the Denver Post. And Stephen, let's start with this. Could you just give us an overview of your book, Cutthroat? All right, well, it looks like we're having some technical. All right, I believe we have him now. Let's, Stephen, could you give us an overview of the book?
Sure. It basically talks about the cable and satellite industries and the competition between them and some of the personalities, and through that trying to express what's been going on generally in telecommunications with all the mergers and effect on consumers.
Okay, so you're a business writer. What the heck are you doing writing a book about the cable industry?
Cable industry is primarily founded and based in Colorado. A lot of the early pioneers, cable cowboys they call them, started out here, and a lot of the satellite companies like EchoStar are based here. DirecTV has an uplink facility here, so a lot of the players in those industries are based here, and I covered them for the past 4 years.
Okay, cutthroat seems kind of an interesting word anytime we hear it, but why did you choose it as the title for a book about the cable industry?
It refers to kind of a couple different levels. One is the epigraph to the book, which is just a statement that Alan Greenspan made about cutthroat competition, and so that's probably the main meaning of it. But it also refers to what I use as a game analogy of strategy between these guys, and that there's basically no allies, just alliances, and that they're because of the interrelationships between these companies and individuals, that they really shift very rapidly. And cutthroat, just in another meaning, is for example, when people are playing racquetball, three people play each plays on their own for their own position rather than in teams. It's called cutthroat. So it just kind of fell together in a lot of different meanings.
Okay, obviously in any industry there's some big players, some big names. Who are the big players in the cable industry, and why have they become the big players and names?
Well, there's Rupert Murdoch, whom we all know as the chief of Fox movie and TV businesses, and then News Corp is the worldwide part of that company, and he provides a lot of the cable programming to both, or provides a lot of programming both the cable and satellite TV companies. So he's one of the main players. And then a guy named John Malone, who's head of a company called TCI based in Colorado, which was actually sold to AT&T this year. He's the next major player. and then the guy who runs a satellite TV company named EchoStar, whose name is Charlie Ergen. And so these three personalities, how they interact over the years and how they combine and compete at various times is kind of the window that I use into the strategies within these industries.
Okay, it seems anywhere that we drive now, we see these little satellite dishes on houses. Used to be we'd see the bigger satellite dishes. Now we're seeing little ones. What is the proliferation of satellite dishes everywhere, home satellites, really done to the cable industry?
Right. Well, the one point I try to make is that when a new technology emerges, it's threatening to the old providers. For example, when cable rose up, it was retransmitting broadcast signals into areas that couldn't get them, and broadcasters liked that up to the point where cable developed their own programming and then competed against the broadcasters. And the same thing happened with satellite and cable. Satellite got the right by the federal government to transmit cable programming, but satellite had so much more capacity than cable that it became much more attractive. DirecTV, when it was launched in 1994, it became the fastest-selling consumer electronics product in history. And so a lot of the book gets into how cable, and particularly John Malone, tried to block the development of satellite TV services through various means. And so what's gone on between satellite TV and cable is that satellite TV's gained 10 million subscribers this decade, and the next battleground between satellite and cable is whether they'll, in internet service, whether satellite will be able to deliver high-speed internet service, which cable companies are also trying to do.
Well, you say that satellite is the newer, bigger technology. Now, obviously, the internet is becoming this huge. It's really exploded over the last few years. The big technology. How is that going to fit into the whole big picture of the cable satellite industry? And might it just homogenize with satellites?
I mean, I think that because they're two different technology paths, so I think that they definitely will compete. And the cable is seen as having the edge in providing high-speed internet service. It's definitely got more capacity than phone lines. The question for the satellite companies is they can provide a lot of data going from the satellite to the homes or to the home dish. The question is, is it make sense to also send it back, so have it transmit from your home to the satellite email or video that you're sending from home? That's a little unclear yet whether it makes sense to do that, but EchoStar and DirecTV, the two main satellite companies, are definitely pursuing internet-type services, and I think that's going to be kind of the next few years a new battleground.
In reading the book, I read a lot about Death Star, and we heard about it over the last few years. Really haven't heard about it as much of late, but could you explain the whole Death Star idea to us?
The Death Star was a nickname for a deal that was proposed in early 1997, and it was between Rupert Murdoch and Charlie Ergen, this guy who runs EchoStar, and it was a very provocative deal to the cable industry, or the cable gang, as I call them, because they proposed to launch 7 satellites that would have the capacity for several hundred channels, including local broadcast channels, so local news, sports, and weather. And this came at a time when the cable industry was really back on their heels and had really upset their customers, and their stocks were really down. And so the book, to a large degree, looks at the 6-month time frame in 1997 when it was kind of kill or be killed for these individuals, and how that affects competition and what people see on their TV and how much they pay for it.
So now you've completed the book. What are your thoughts on the cable industry now that the book's totally done?
Well, I think I was kind of covering it day to day in this crush of news, but I think what struck me kind of taking a break for a year and then looking fresh at what had happened was how important it was for the cable industry in the 1990s to block the development of satellite TV or the deployment of satellite TV, because it threatened their monopolies that they had. It also threatened to cut into their subscriber base. And this fella John Malone, who's kind of a pretty brilliant guy for the cable industry, was able on a lot of different levels to undercut satellite TV. And so this obviously affects, as I mentioned, the prices that people pay and what we watch on TV. And I get into some of those economics of the interlock between cable and programming companies. And I think this is an ongoing issue. I mean, what the government's dealing with Microsoft now is about the power of a monopoly and how that affects consumers.
All right, Stephen Keating, thank you for joining us, the author of the book Cutthroat. I've read about half the book. Looks pretty interesting, so you might want to pick up the book in bookstores or whatever. Thank you for joining us. It's an interesting book about the cable industry. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back after this.
Introducing new frequent phone hours.
Use the phone just 8 hours a week and get this free phone cradle. Use it 12 hours and get a speakerphone.
Use it 15 hours and get this cool headset.
Or stay on the phone 20 hours a week
And get a pasty complexion.
flabby body, and a great new nickname at school.
Exercised lately?
I would like all my friends to be there. I want my mother to be there. My hair can be done so beautiful. Loud music, a nice blue dress. I want to be beautiful for every single person that goes there. I want to have a nice girl.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. Help stop the violence. Call 1-800-WE-PEN for free information. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
It's not just about making plans. It's about making a difference and taking an interest, not just earning it. At Everthen Investing, it's about knowing you.
My every hope, my life, my world, it all begins with a dream.
Edward Jones, investing in you and your dreams.
In Clarion, see Gary Martin, located on Main Street. Phone 226-7896.
And welcome back to Feedback. We're here with Ryan Wisniewski from WCUC FM 91.7's Sports Talk. And when does that air?
Tuesdays from 5 to 7.
Okay, and who else is on the show with you?
We have Bob Kotnick, Ken Pruitt, and Dawn Ersich.
Okay, so only one more show then? Is that what
we got? Next week's show.
Next week, that's
and
it.
And then next semester, I believe we'll be moving back to our usually Thursday night spot.
Okay.
From 5 to 7 it should be. So just keep listening, you'll find out.
All right.
When the show will
Sure.
be.
I think the big news on the headline is not only on the sports section, but on the front of the local papers was the Steelers. What are your thoughts on the game?
It's just hard to believe. I'm just finally glad they got Cordell out of there. And obviously, you can see with the way Tom Zach played the game. I mean, the Steelers have an offense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not much of one. They came close. They just couldn't get that last touchdown in. But you know what? It was a great comeback, even though it was against the Cincinnati Bengals. But Thursday night's game against Jacksonville will be a test for Tom Zach. I like Tom Zach. Like to see him get a chance to play the game some. But I'm just worried every time he comes in and does well for filling in for Cordell, the next game he gets to start, he doesn't do too well. So it's a tough defense too, Jacksonville. You know, top defenses in the league. But I have a good feeling about Tom Zach's performance this week.
So, what are your thoughts on Cordell then? I guess you're thinking it's a smart move, but I mean, what to do with him now? Keep him there full time?
It's hard to say. I mean, you have, after Tom Zach, you have two quarterbacks. One's a rookie, this is his second year. It's hard to say what to do with him. I mean, you kind of have to keep him because you can't throw Tom Zach on his last leg. You know, I only think he has 1 or 2 more years left in him. Pete Gonzalez, second year, and then the other guy, Anthony Ward is his name, I believe. He hasn't played a game yet this year. He played some preseason, but that doesn't match up to regular season. I feel that, they're going to have to keep Cordell on the staff unless they go out in the free agent market this year and pick up a quarterback. I mean, Jeff Blake, Cincinnati's quarterback, he's going to be leaving the team Cincinnati this year, he says. So he's a good quarterback. I'd like to see them get him even.
Well, you know, looking back at the game now that they lost, does that sort of make the Steelers a laughingstock now? I mean, I was reading an article and they said that Cincinnati was the league's laughingstock. Now that Cincinnati beat Pittsburgh, does that make them a laughingstock?
I don't think it makes them the laughingstock. It's just for this week, we could say, since they lost to the worst team in the league, and 2 weeks ago they lost to the second worst team in the league in Cleveland. But it's just hard to be a Steeler fan right now. I mean, I love the Steelers. I'm black and gold, you know, but it's hard to see them, you know, 5 and 6 over the halfway point of the season, and just hope to see them maybe win at least, come 8 and 8. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, but 2 years in a row not in the playoffs is kind of hard to handle. It's
interesting about Steeler fans, though, that they'll still, pretty much they'll stick through no matter what.
Yeah, everybody's a Steeler fan. I mean, even though they haven't been doing too good of late, everybody still likes the Steelers. I mean, with Cordell, I saw a guy make a comment. His comment was, they said, "Well, Cordell, should he be thrown off the team? You know, should they cut him, trade him, get rid of him? What?" And his comments were, "He's a great athlete. You got to have him on the field." And he proved himself as a good wide receiver whenever he was slashed his rookie year. So I feel they got to keep him in the lineup somehow, even if it's a wide receiver. The way that a couple of wide receivers went down on Sunday's game, so they have to definitely keep Cordell in the lineup.
Well, how about Bill Cowher? I got a call from my cousin Sunday morning saying, "Oh, he's going to resign after the game," and you know, so many rumors, and then he comes out and there's absolutely no truth to it. Then he'll resign. Take on that.
I don't see Cowher leaving. He's a Pittsburgh guy. Just having some tough times right now. Again, with Kevin Gilbride coming in this year as the offensive coordinator, and had a lot of offensive coordinators the past couple of years. So I believe Cowher, he's going to stay. I mean, I heard a comment that he made saying, I don't know where the Post-Gazette reporter got his information about that. He says, talk to him about it, don't talk to me about it, because I'm not going to comment on that anymore. I believe he's going to stick around.
Even after, 3 years left in his contract, I think? You think he'll sign a new one and stick around?
I guess we'll have to wait till next year. See how they perform next year.
All right, moving on from the Steelers. Let's talk about Pitt. I believe the stadium, they're going to start tearing it down this week. I mean, not that some of the students didn't take care of that well enough after the game. Yeah. Is this the end of an era for Pittsburgh sports?
It's hard to see the stadium get torn down after all these years and all the memories in that stadium. Just like the Steelers, they're moving on to bigger and better things. We'll be playing in the new, unnamed Pittsburgh Stadium, football stadium. I don't think it's going to be the end of an era. There's still the Pittsburgh Panthers. I feel they're still going to have a great team. They're a young team. The new stadium, I think, will help them out just as much as it's going to help Pittsburgh Steelers out.
Well, you know, Pitt beating Notre Dame at their last game. I thought that was great, but then lost this weekend in West Virginia. Well, what are your thoughts maybe on Pitt? I mean, I think we've seen a turnaround with them the last few years.
Yeah, they're definitely, they brought in their new coach. He's definitely turned the team around into a contender, going to a bowl last year. I'm not sure now if they're going to get a bowl bid, losing to West Virginia. If they won the game, they're definitely guaranteed a bowl bid. So hopefully there's a little snag in the way they do the lineup for the bowl bid. So hopefully they can get in there. I mean, they're a great team. They're a young team. They watched a couple games this year, and they did pretty good. I mean, they're, like I said, young team. I think in the future they have a lot to look forward to.
And you going to attribute that to Walt Harris or the team?
Yeah, I think definitely Walt Harris has been a big contributor to the success of the Panthers the past few years.
So, stadium, that's moving on.
Yeah.
Do you think it would be weird if you were a student at Pitt? Do you think it would be kind of strange that, you know, to go to your team's football games, you have to travel into downtown to go see that? Do you think that's going to be strange, even though they're getting a convocation center in place?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be too much of a hassle for them. I mean, most of your fans anyway are the general public, not the college students. As long as they come up with some type of bus system to get the students down there. I mean, Oakland's not that far from where the stadium will be to get them down there. I don't think that'll be a problem. I think the students will still go and support, especially in a brand new stadium. I can't wait to get into it when it's built. So I think definitely the students will still respond to the game.
Well, what did I hear? I think it's like 500 days till the baseball stadium opens. Yeah. They just started construction, or they're starting tomorrow maybe on the convention center, and 2 stadiums going up. So that's going to be interesting for the sports in Pittsburgh.
Great future for sport. Now the Penguins want a new stadium, a new arena.
Well, and you know, talking about that, before this whole bankruptcy thing started, it was sort of like, no, you're not going to get one. Now that we hear that now they brought themselves out of bankruptcy, they're going to they might get a new arena.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
I think with the way the arena, like I heard reports of it, they said that the city will put more money towards the arena. Won't be public funded because you have WWF in the Civic Arena, you have Elmo on ice or whatever. You have more uses out of the arena all year round. Whereas Three River Stadium, you have your baseball games during the summer, football games in the fall, and then the high school championship games. But where the arena, the city will put up more money for it because they're going to get more money back for that. So I definitely think where they're going to put the arena, I don't know, but
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It's kind of landlocked in town.
They have the oldest building in the league right now, so it's hard. It's a good future for Pittsburgh. A lot of new stadiums, a lot of new, great, bring the young people back to the city. I think.
That's what they're trying, Mayor Murphy trying to do, I guess. Maybe moving halfway across the state to State College. What has happened to Penn State? My dad's a devout fan, and it's, I've seen him. If he doesn't watch a game, he's not mad anymore. I mean, what has happened up there?
I don't know what, they just ran into some tough times. I mean, I feel like watching the Pittsburgh Steelers whenever they're on the field. I mean, it's sad to see. I know there's a lot of people in this area that don't like Penn State. Me, I'm biased. I really don't mind watching them play. They're a great team, a great defense. I think what just hurts them is rotating the quarterbacks on offense. I mean, you got to stick with one quarterback, I feel. And it's like with the Steelers, their quarterback trouble. It's everything bases around a quarterback. Your defense plays well, and your offense comes out, and the quarterback doesn't play well. It just brings the whole team down.
What's making the fans at Pitt happy?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I heard that was the biggest cheer at Pitt Stadium when they announced the Penn State game score the week they played Notre Dame.
I was at the Penguin game that night, and they showed on the scoreboard that Pitt won. Everybody went crazy. Then after they showed Pitt won, they had Penn State score, and the whole place went nuts because Penn State lost. It was pretty funny.
That's great. Well, thanks for joining us once again. You can hear your show, what time on Tuesdays?
Tuesdays from 5 to 7.
5 to 7 on 91.7 WCUC. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back.
The crowd is easy when you stop in at Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall. Whether you're looking for junior trendy, girls, or fashion for women, they have it all with many different styles. With our newly expanded shoe and accessory department, you're surely to find that special touch to enhance that new outfit. And if you have a fashion question, our experts are here to help. That's Fashion Bug, located in the Clarion Mall, just off Exit 9 of Interstate 80. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. till 9 p.m. Sunday from noon till 5.
Where have all the children gone? Long time passing.
Every day, 10 children are killed by gunfire. You can help stop the violence. Call 1-800-WE-PREVENT. Not one more lost life. Not one more grieving family. Not one more.
Gone to graveyards one by one. Oh, when will we ever learn?
News travels fast. That's why you need the speed and accuracy of a news team that brings coverage closer to home. Every Tuesday and Wednesday night, join TV5 News for Clarion's only live local newscast on television at 8. Tune in for the latest in regional, state, and national news. Plus, with our newspaper exchange partner, the Clarion News, teaming up to bring coverage closer to home every Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Clarion's only live local newscast on television at 8 is here on TV5.
Season's greetings to you from all of us here at Feedback. Don't spend too much or eat too much in the coming months. Enjoy the holiday season and don't forget to tune into Feedback, same time and same place next February. Once again, happy holidays. There you go. See my Christmas greeting to you. I didn't know they put that in yet, so that's good. You can see me now all the time when you're watching TV5. But don't let that ad fool you. We're still going to be on next week. We have some more great shows for you coming up next week. And until then, have a good week. We'll see you.